We are the promised people. We are the people who were promised for this promised land. Everybody worldwide. We are the promised people. We are the people. Yes, so welcome to the promised land.
Hey guys, we're about to take you into episode 10 right now of Breaking the Trance Sourcecast, and we want you to really stay with it. You'll witness in this episode a real live process of my father and I's interaction in terms of the way that each of us brings through the essence of what we're teaching is you've already noticed, I'm sure, is very unique and different. And I just want to invite you to just stay with us. From the beginning, you'll sort of see us go through that process of we're finding our way to make this more available and accessible to you all the time, because we know that it can be quite it can seem heady or lofty or very logical and therefore hard to get or hard to follow. But I invite you to just stick with us, okay? Because we're gonna show you why this is the most important. In a way, episode 10 is going to be kind of like the most important episode so far, the one that you'll want to see almost before all the other ones, because we're asking
what nothing is really saying is that I begin, as I often do, and I get the fire hose and I get going, and he stopped me. And after about 3-4 minutes, he says, "Dad, stop it." You're going to see a very nice moment where the son stops the father and takes over and makes it more real. So he's saying, stay with until you'll see the shift. It's a beautiful example of our living what we're talking about. So yes, stay all the way through for the 40-50 minutes, whatever it is.
It's worth it. It's worth it. We're going to ask you to stop believing, including us. So Stick around for this.
Nathan, I love the tone of the last number 9 episode, where we just stood back from when no one's listening, and we were trying to really vent how we're feeling, not just after 1 through 8 and now 9, but just in the last 5 or more years since we produced the 1776 now, our unfinished American R-Evolution, which was not just for America, but for the human family. And what we've done in a more perfect union, a more perfect unum, to show that the code shift is essential. And, and the greatest story never told, all of these publications, and it seems to fall on deaf ears. And as as I'm teaching now, the 57 years, it's very frustrating, because genuine wisdom and enlightenment should obviously pay attention to who is listening and are you communicating effectively. I want to talk with you about this. I want your advice, because you're an expert in my mind on this in terms of your years of master yoga teaching as a source musical artist, lyricist, composer, performer, and coaching other people, all of that. How do you deal with, where we've said in our earlier performances, we've ended the age of conflation. Of what? The code conflation. We didn't see the difference between the source code and the derivative code where humans are living, right? We've said that. So if the codes are undifferentiated, we're in code chaos. And if our great wisdom teachers allegedly are speaking from the source, whatever name you use for the source, what's first? All across 2,500 years of our great teachers teaching allegedly from here, even though it was conflated, it was a mixed bag. Because if your codes are in chaos, you are in chaos, and the teaching is in chaos. And how can the life coaches, the teachers, the messiahs, the rabbis, the gurus, imams, all of the enlightened teachers, the life coaches, all through the culture, coach the people who are in some kind of profound alienation from themselves, and the mistranslation across this. And what we're saying, now that we finally have something new, this is a new hologram that captures 2,500 years, but it's not just responding to what has been done, but to a breakthrough to source science. Our first teachers are first teachers because of the validity of source science. There's a science, we use the word logos, but any infinite word for the infinite field, the source of being, reality. It's a language of reality, a language of presence. It can't be stuff, it's presence. And so this language, the missing language, comes with the missing code. We have science now. It's not just a matter of opinion. And if the teachers, the wisdom teachers, enlightenment teachers, and the life coaches are not calling this out as a first order of business, in first philosophy, first wisdom, We should know that there's going to be lost in translation if we don't call out the trance. That's why this series that I was saying, inventing about it, is that the human family has been trapped in a code trance originally, and we don't know we have a choice. Our wills and what we believe are stories that we subscribe to. I didn't put in when you subscribe and say yes to a story, and I believe it. This is my truth. People are born in a way in the chaos. It's an original failure to understand that free will the will is trapped here by the code, and unless we break this code trance and enter into the source space, we're not with freedom. Our will is bound. And people don't even aware that when they have a belief system, they believe in something. I believe in Christ, I believe in science, I believe in democracy, whatever you believe in. That is implies a judgment that you, the thinker, is making upon some truth or narrative or belief system that you're saying yes to. You're believing it. Your will, as a human being, as a rational being, you have a will choice. That's will, freedom. And you make a judgment. I judge that this is my truth, and I affirm it and believe it. But if people are already born in belief, they don't even know that they have a choice. So it's a clusterfuck. Sorry to say that. We're born as clusterfuck sapiens. I hate to say that. I love saying it, actually, because it's true. We're code clustered and confused or bundled. We're gnarled, but we're entangled. We're entangled in our own chaos.
Can I cut in?
I want you to not cut in. I want you to take it from here and answer my question.
And actually, this might even be like, okay, like cut. Let's consider that a take one, because I'm saying this to you now, not the audience, because I'm experiencing the same thing again, which is that like, whoa.
Too much. I said too much.
And when we talked about the pad being a crutch,
yeah,
I feel like it really is right now. I feel like, I mean, I don't want to get rid of it. I'm just saying, I have this feeling of there's in the spirit of what we've been saying about slowing down and stepping back and being wise about the communication.
That's my main point. That's genuine wisdom is wise about communication.
And
yes.
And I just don't think. I mean, I'm even having a hard time because it's sort of like it's just like again hitting the ground running, and I'm just thinking about like if the pad wasn't there right now, you don't have anything to point to. And this may be take two. I don't know. I just want to
let's start over.
Because when I say you take it, it's almost I feel like what you're doing is you're almost getting yourself and me up to speed in our way, where it's like this is what we want to do. Okay, but now that we're going to do it for the audience, for the people, I feel like.
May I start over?
Sure.
I don't want you to stop. Because I want that first opening to be integral, and now we're going to. Okay, I want to know that's important. Let's start.
Okay, so if I was to.
I know.
Hey, how's it going? No, it's because the thing is, everything you're saying is so spot on. I just know that it's almost like it's too technical right off the bat. Talk of code.
You say it then. Nothing. You say it. You tell Dad. You shut up, Dad. I'll take over.
I may have the same issue. I don't know, but I feel like what I want to say is this. Say, okay, everybody. We all know that the world is crumbling really fast right now, and things are accelerated. And I think there's just a lot of attempts at getting ourselves better as individuals or trying to be activists in the community to make things better, and things aren't working. We're putting all of our energy and all of our efforts in the best of intentions to try to make things better, but we're confused. I think we know that it's just a big, as you said a moment ago, Dad, it's a big clusterfuck, and we as individuals are clusterfucked. We're overloaded. We're getting bombarded with constant opinions and media and news stories and facts and information. And we're so confused. And I feel like humans are just so scrambled, and we're doing our best within the scrambling. and we keep moving forward. We keep doing. I keep trying to change my habits and do good things for myself and try to make the world a better place. And all those, it's all good. But I think we all know that we're exhausted, we're fried, we're overloaded. And it's almost like we're in a choppy ocean without a lifesaver, and we're just thrashing. We're thrashing to try to just gasping for air. And it's like what I feel like leading up to this, what we were so excited about this episode is, it's like, and all of the episodes we've done so far could almost come after this one that we're about to do, because it feels like what we want to say more than anything is, whoa, Nelly, everybody stop, and stop blabbing. And most importantly, stop believing. We don't know what to believe. What's real? What's real? What do we believe? Like, who do I listen to? Do I listen to, Eckhart Tolle? Do I listen to CNN? Do I listen to Fox? Do I listen to Jesus? Do I listen to Buddha? Do I listen to myself? Do I listen to a guru? Do I listen to nothing? Is it all bullshit? Is everybody bullshitting? Is there anything real? This kind of feeling. I think this is in the field, and in our pre-meeting in the last couple of days, as we're talking about it, was like such a relief to just say it. Oh my God, it's just a big clusterfuck. We called it the bullshit zone. It's just a big bullshit zone. And what you said, that what you brought to the table that was so exciting for me and so refreshing, and we got like 20 titles from it. Stop believing. Stop it. Just stop. It's like we don't even realize like we're belief addicts. We just, anything that's coming through our eye holes and our ear holes, we're just going, that. And even if you say, I don't believe, you're still using the same don't believe, do believe. And we're saying, stop both. Stop the don't believe, stop the believe. Stop the thumbs up, stop the thumbs down. Stop. You're a witness now. You're watching, you're listening, you're arresting all judgment, including with us. So
please, this is important.
We're actually telling you too, we don't want you to believe us. We don't want you to believe us. That's not what we're in. We're doing something beyond belief. That's the whole
Good. I like that.
So maybe that's a good start. That was
a great start. No,
that was me rehearsing it. So maybe that could be the opening. Maybe both can be that. We keep this whole thing. Fuck it.
So keep the whole thing. No, this is very instructive because you're coaching me in the very point. Let me start over then.
Yeah.
Hey, Nav, how are you? Yeah, the last one was so very special because we're finally forgetting about any audience. No one's listening. You and I are just having a heart-to-heart and building on our decades of intense, almost daily conversation. Yeah. And, what I want to get your help in dealing with is, our great teachers with Buddha, whatever they are, they realized that there was a problem in teaching what they saw to the everyday villagers, the fishermen and women, the everyday people who don't have great literacy and all that. And the frustrating moments, so all of these first responders despaired of teaching because they knew there was something challenging to communicate what they were seeing as the science, truth, wisdom, enlightenment to the lay audience. And I think real wisdom should see that and deal with that, not just say, for those who have ears, let them hear. No, let's get some eardrops now. Let's do it now. Mm-hmm. So I want to focus on that with you because what you just said is, and I almost don't want to do that. but may I just do this? This is not.
No, I think just to hit the ground running with it is all. Like I just
yeah. No, you did. So what is here's a person, she has the will, which is a very powerful to make a judgment. And look, here's the story. And when you believe it, say, I believe that science is real, is truth, or Jesus is my Lord, or God does not exist, or whatever. When I affirm it or deny it, right? Whatever it is, the story, the narrative here, right? Then you're making a commitment to it. And we wanted to say, halt, stop that, stop.
Yes.
So I want you to take it from there. How we want to reverse? Stop here, stop it.
Yeah.
Step back.
Isn't that a relief?
Yeah. No, including us. Don't listen to us here. We don't want you to believe us. We want you to listen to us. You know, you can understand the story without affirming it or denying it and buying in. You know, when you buy in, you're voting yes on it. You're using your will. People don't know the will is powerful. It's volition. It's free. But if the will is caught in a subtext of a code that's grabbed our will and if our will is colonized by a code that we didn't see, that we call the trance, then we don't have free will, and we're hacked. And it's and we're born into. Think of it. If a great teacher is saying we have a choice, we don't have to be here, and they weren't clear on what is a choice. You know, you have a vote. You can vote with A or B, right? No, how do you vote on this, right? So a free will is something profound. So we're born into colonized situation. We're colonized. Okay. It's original hacking. We're hacked.
All right.
We're human.
Yeah, and so in terms
help me with that. Go.
In terms of the language of that, so like what you're so good at is seeing like the deeper principle of what's going on. So it's sort of like the universal and the particular. Like you're the universal, I'm the particular.
Good, good. That's good.
And we need both. So how I would translate that is, so guys, when you're born, you had no choice in what you were getting. What you were sponging up and absorbing, not even just explicitly like what your parents told you to believe and what your school told you to believe and what pop culture and media told you to believe. Most of it is probably subliminal and unconscious, the deep programming that goes on in us of how which then informs how we choose and what we like and what we want and what we don't want and all the things. So when we talk about the will, again, a lot of people don't use that word as an everyday word. We don't talk about our will. We talk about choice. Talk about like I'm free. I'm free to choose. Well, that's what we mean by will. The will is your freedom to choose. But the thing is, you didn't really have freedom to choose from the time you were born, and maybe even in utero, getting irradiated with a belief system of what any variety. The point is, we get indoctrinated and initiated without our consent.
Good.
Into whatever belief system we have. And
because it's our language. Because it's our language now. Just learning language is already coded.
Exactly.
And coded. We're hacked by our language.
Yes.
If we don't understand which grammar are you in? Which code are you in? We were originally hacked. You know, in the big biblical language, and we don't get into sin, but when you're born in sin or born in samsara, you're born into the cluster mess.
Right. But when you say which code, people haven't even gotten to the code. So in any belief system, here's the thing, any belief system, atheism and theism, you can believe in God, you can not believe in God, or not care about any of it. You're still in that. And that's when we say a code. All of them are in that same code, which has made your will, your free will is not free, is what we're saying. And
not what you just said is important. Even an agnostic who withholds belief in God, atheism, is also in the belief system.
That's right. All of us are in the belief system.
We're immersed within here.
But that's not all there is. That's not all. We're saying that's not all there is. But before we talk about belief systems in and of themselves, we're saying believing as a whole. That's what I kind of feel like I wanted to focus on. What I'm so excited about is, wow, people don't even realize that they are believing or not believing automatically.
Auto belief, yeah.
And that's not free belief. You're not free to believe. You think you're choosing what you're believing, but you might actually be having it chosen for you, not by someone else, but it's just automatic. And so what we're
your vote is hacked. Your will.
Step yes back from that. Yeah. Before we even talk about the other code, it's like, just notice you are 24/7 interpreting. Your interpretation, which is informed by the way you were programmed your whole life, is constantly got its grubby little hands on every piece of information that comes in. If sounds, words, information, inner feelings, everything is going through your nonstop interpreter that's constantly saying, you're constantly defining everything, and that's a form of believing. What we're saying is, before anything else, stop. Don't even believe us.
That's right.
Just listen. You know, that's how I would interpret what you're saying there. I just want to catch them up on some of these words that we use a lot, like the
You're
will.
doing well now. You're the one who really can tap into where the people are. I'm incontinent in that respect. But to step back is important. You know, to step back is a huge thing that no one has been able to do. You know, to say I, to be the witness. Where is the witness? The witness isn't here. The witness is watching how, whoa, outside of the binds, and watching, wow, look at me, look at that version of me.
That's it.
How I'm captured. So the paradox is that if this version of me, number one, and number two version of me, right, which is stepping back, the witness, me that watches, I'm now watching. I'm watching me watching.
There you go. Yeah.
Something is profound here.
Yeah.
So when you say be a witness, if already you're hacked here, you can't be a judge in this Supreme Court. You've got to be a judge. You've got to step back and not be prejudiced and captured. You've got to be. You've got to break the barrier to be a witness. To just want. Wow, I can see how science works. I can see how religious belief works. I can see how yoga is happening. I can see politics. I can see all of the. I can see theism. I can see atheism. I can see agnosticism. I can see dualism. I can see non-dualism. I can see all of this. I can see it now. And I don't have to buy it. I'm just watching. I'm free. So when we say stop believing, it does not stay here, but it means to step back. That's a green zone. I'm not talking yet about getting into the, we're not even going there. That's a whole different thing. How do I go into the deeper missing language?
We're talking about that in-between step. There's like an in-between step.
That's right. First step, baby step, we're reverse engineering. We're saying if we're born in a cluster mess, a code mess of chaos, and our language is just having this language and this language are different, undifferentiated, and many other narratives are going on. It's not just this between the two codes, but in my everyday cultural life, there's a science language, there's the Big Bang, the Genesis language, the mind first or matter first. And all of this is going on in the same place that when you originally beautifully said, we're in a mess. Which are there different languages? Or the language of science is not the same as the biblical language. I might be using English or Hebrew or Sanskrit or Swahili, whatever language to express it, but the scientific way of thinking and narrative and the religious way of being a human, and these are different stories and language meaning. What the meaning in science is not the same as the meaning in religious life. And I didn't figure that out. And I'm suckered into I'm almost seduced into believing. And I could even believing in science. I believe in science. I believe in the vaccine. I believe in the results of science. No, I am a religious person. I believe God is my salvation, and I can believe I'm a citizen. I want to keep my religion out of my political space. And so all of this, I can have all of these different versions of me. Believing in these different stories, if my identity shifts across my different worlds, and if we're living in a multicultural society, well, there's many different narratives about reality and truth, and competing and contradicting each other, but they're in the same boat. We did that in an earlier, where it was Titanic, the same boat, and this is not this boat is not going to float. It's in trouble.
Yeah.
So this is really what I think we got so excited about. Let's reverse engineer, slow it down. You beautifully said, Dad, stop, slow down. Don't make the cluster worse. Right? Slow down and just see if you could just baby step back and watch. Don't buy. Don't say yes or no. Or I don't even give a question. Don't even be a question mark about it. Just watch.
Wow.
Watch how your mind is. Watch a game. From stepping back. This is a huge moment. We're not even talking about, break the trance is a prerequisite for being able to transform yourself into source, your higher self. Who you are you here? I, encountering the other. in that space. I am. We're not talking about that yet. We're not talking about that. We're talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
Step back and watch.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like you to help us understand how would we coach people on this step to get them to be more aware that their will. People are not educated generally to know. Pay attention to your rational power, your will, to make a judgment call. You know, is it right or wrong? Is it true or false? Do I say yes or no?
Do I like or don't like? Do I want?
All of it, exactly. Yeah. Your psychology is, is your will is how you're going to feel. I hate you. I love you. That's your will too. Your emotional is governed by your will. Your will is running. That's when all your preferences is the action of your will. But if your will is under the captivity,
then it's automatic.
That's
it's predetermined. Yeah.
That's right.
You're not free.
You're not free. This is a huge headline now. Because if we're living in a land of the free, no. So in the USA lab, for example, again, we're not Americentric, we're not USA centric. We're talking to our human family, all humans across the planet. But in the USA, it's declared almost as a badge of honor. We're living in the land of the free.
Are we though?
That's a question. That's a big no. It's all humans.
Yeah.
What is freedom? And Marley's saying free of self-mental slavery. He said, oh yeah, that's a nice tune. I like that. No, it's a terrible situation. If our will is enslaved, we may end slavery as a political slave, but we're still enslaved in a deeper way. To what? To the code that we're using to make our life and experience and our worlds and exercise our will and making our preferences and choices. And you can have, if democracy has to do with voting and voting rights, we should do a session called Voting Rights and Wrongs. You follow? Truly free people using their free independence, Declaration of Independence from this. The Declaration of Independence, we show this in our 1 through 9, 1776 now. Independence is not just independence from an external, it's independence of a software that's eclipsing us from our true dignity and worth. So the independence is separation, the language of the opening remarks of the Declaration of Independence. You got to separate from anything that captures and compromises your dignity. And separation then is in Eastern meditative, you got to detach. You got to let go. You got to surrender. You got to sacrifice. All these words.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think one of the points that you said was just sort of like one of the working titles of this is basically stop believing. What we're saying right now is that stepping back and realizing nobody's saying this, including self-help people and wisdom teachers, especially wisdom gurus and teachers and self-improvement. If we don't do this first, it's not wisdom. That's a big thing to say, I know. But it's
obvious.
The essence of wisdom is this. The essence of wisdom is understanding what we're trapped in to begin with. And if you're just going to be giving words of wisdom and, oh, wow, that sounds so nice. It's got this kind of like, ooh, that makes me feel so good. I really like that. Oh, yeah, it's like we're all one and choose love, not fear, and think positive, not negative. Say, oh, yeah, that's all so great. But it's getting wasted in this space of a non-free will. Until we do, what we're saying is before anything else, stop, pause, and like you said, that watch the watcher, see the seer, witness your witnesser. Your smaller witnesser is not the witness. You got to become a grander witness and step back. There is a space outside of that enslaved will and that enslaved just automatic interpretation. And what I want to convey to you guys is, listen, it's not saying that we're not saying that the wisdom teachers are wrong or that what they're saying isn't good or anything, but it's like we're not addressing the main point here.
We're saying they're not wise. Come on.
It's not wise. It's not wise to just pour more. That's why we're talking about the bullshit zone. It's a one big bullshit zone. And on some level, I think everybody kind of feels like, look, we all know that everybody's bullshit. All right. So it's just choose the bullshit that you prefer, but we all know that everyone's bullshitting. You're bullshitting and Nathan and Ashok, you guys are bullshitting. We're all bullshitters, right? Yeah. We're saying, don't believe us. We're asking you to step back from that, because saying something is bullshit or not bullshit is still in the belief zone. It's still in the bullshit zone. You know, all of it, even science or anti-science, is all in the bullshit zone. What's the bullshit zone? That's the place where everything is dubitable. Everything's in question. We're all like, again, that's my point in the beginning. I think we're all kind of scared to face this. We don't know what's real. We don't know what to believe. We think we do. We have a kind of naive sense of like, oh, I know this is real. This is real. And when I woke up from my dreams this morning, oh, that was not real, but this is real. And, you know, we have a certain sense of reality. But if we dare question that, even your waking life is in question. And there's people saying things all the time now about this is actually a simulation and all these kinds of, like, some of them were groping for what we're saying here. It's like you don't have to make it into the Matrix movie to understand that we are living a simulation, in the sense that we're not really in touch with our true, real self. Doesn't mean we're in some pod in a cyber world and this whole thing is a digital construct. It doesn't need to be that to be doubtful. And what we're saying is, how do we get in touch with the real, with knowing? Knowledge, double brackets, is beyond belief.
That's right.
We're trying to show that difference.
That's right. And some of the teachers say that, you know, if you believe in God, then it shows you're not mature. But when you know it, that's you're intimate with it. You're in the zone.
Yes.
That's real awakened knowledge. And all this talk about awakening in the mind, and we try to get all the stories and give it coaching here to this person. As you said, that book I just read makes me feel good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a vote.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it. I want it. Oh, I feel good. I feel good. That's what it's about. Wisdom is making me feel good. Mm-hmm. No, wisdom is getting you to become real.
Mm-hmm.
And a genuine wisdom life coach and teacher. I mean, just so slow it down. Let's take the Jesus case. When he's saying, when you're speaking to people and they're not believing, knock the dust off your heels and leave. Mm-hmm. For those who have ears, let them hear. You can't listen, you can't hear if your mind is captured. So in the language of sin, which we don't want to use, we're born in that. We're born in the alienation from freedom. We're born in a way mind slaves. In the very code of our language, of our culture. The language we're using, this is our language. And we make our worlds and we experience. And that's why great philosophers said, this is a construct. It means this all is my will, it's construct, or the group will. The conspiracy of the wills of the culture, the homies agree. This is the common sense. This is common sense. Use your but when you cross worldviews, is the Earth Gaia, or is it dead mass? What is a common sense? It's according to what cultural space you're in, mm-hmm. And that can shift. And a person can inhabit multiple cultures. I mean, we can live in a shared cultural space. It's all here. But if I feel good, I will say, yeah, I'll buy it. Mm-hmm. No. That's still bondage. Mm-hmm. And genuine wisdom, what is that? It's going to see from the light of reason. That's wisdom. It's science.
Yes. And I know a lot of people, I just want to say this real quick. I know a lot of people who don't subscribe to any religion, and they don't necessarily say they're atheists. I mean, this is the agnostic word, but they might not even say agnostic. I feel like I almost want to call out a huge swath of the people who, if you had to name what you are, the best word would probably be, I'm just eclectic. I'm just kind of like a pick and choose. And that we almost feel like that's almost like the more enlightened way to be. It's like, hey, I don't really subscribe to any of it. Or
I take a little bit of science and my
Ziggy Marley's song. Ziggy Marley's song, Love is My Religion. Wow, that's so cool, right? Love is my religion. All right, cool. Well, you know, there's a lot of people out there that I think that they might think that what you're saying maybe doesn't even relate to them, because like, well, I don't have any of that. No, you have all of it. you may be a non specific kind of go with it kind of person, which actually, to be honest, that's kind of how I've considered myself many of these years. But that you're still in that space. I want to kind of really point out, there's no getting out of this without seeing it. And there's no getting. So even if you're just kind of eclectic and you're sort of just open-minded and all that, because even if you're open-minded and spiritual and fancy yourself to be more free-minded, you could have a more free mind within the enslaved will. You know, you haven't emancipated yourself from mental slavery, to put it that way. I really want to make that clear. This goes for everybody. Until you see this, you're under the sway, you're under control. And I think that that's what people are so afraid of facing. When we talk about like a simulation, or who's controlling the simulation, or talk about the Illuminati or the government, or with the words, these blanket statements for some all-powerful, you know, beings that are controlling me, it's almost like we're groping for some kind of like, we know that we're not free, I think is what's going on. I think we know that we're not really in our true selves and in our true reality. And we're trying to like label it like somebody's in control. It's the government, or it's the media. And we're like pointing like this all over the place. But no, it's deeper than all that. All of that is symptomatic. And
even the Illuminati.
yeah.
Even the aliens are going to be captured, because no one can step outside of the force of the light of infinite source of reason.
And until we see that and feel that and know that, that's again, knowledge is not information. Information, no amount of information becomes wisdom. And until we see that we're not truly safe, we're not truly secure beings, we're not truly confident, we're not whole. We're gaping holes. We're not whole, WHOLE, we're HOLEs.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know?
That's right.
And so, but what we're saying is that because of that dubious nature of life, and we're on a deep level, I think we're profoundly insecure. I think we're profoundly scared at a deep level, but we can't face that. So we glaze it over and we normalize. And now we're like on this fake foundation, and we're all like, let's all uphold this foundation. And what's happening now in our culture, it's like going, oh shit, all the things I thought I could count on are now starting to feel really wonky.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
this is and so what I'm saying is this does not have to be as disastrous and scary and panic ridden as it kind of feels right now. And what we're saying is the life vest, if the Titanic is going down, what's the life saving device in this? It's to get in touch with your true self, your source self, your deeper mind. It's not an anti-mind thing. It's the deeper mind. It's the deeper body. It's the deeper self. That is the place of security and wellness and wholeness and safety. Because that's really kind of what I think everybody wants right now. And we're saying it's not an opinion, it's actually science.
Yeah, I'd like to build up. There's so much you did beautifully, Nathan. Just look at the eclectic. And when you say the eclectic, he or she is really, well, yeah, you got it. Because I believe in a higher power. I don't call it God. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, right?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of. So I really believe the Buddha's teaching touches me, right? Mm-hmm. But I believe in science, because my medical doctor is practicing scientific medicine, or my therapist is using pharmaceutical prescriptions to help me with my mental disorders and turbulence and so forth. So I believe in science and scientific medicine. I'm doing yoga. It makes me feel good. I'm trying to de-stress. I buy a little bit. I'm talking about the eclectic as a cherry picker, who picks a little from this siloed off narrative and this silo narrative, and they're all silos, because this is a silo maker. All these narratives, the boundless narratives across the planet over these centuries and millennia, are all in silos, because that's the silo is what gives this scientific, even though it's unfolding and evolving, right? Over time, the scientific community changes the paradigms and so forth within this form of rational life and thinking and experiencing empirical science, putting the empirical first and so forth, right? All of these silos, I can pick and choose, but they're discoherent. The point is they're in silos, they are shredded. And you might think that, I'm going to be the unifier of a little pinch of science, a little pinch of religion, and like a little yoga. I'm doing some feng shui over here. I'm seeing my psychotherapist over here. I'm a political citizen. I don't want to get my religion. All of that. I have multiple, and I feel I'm wise. Why? Because I didn't buy into one only truth. I can say Jesus is the only truth, absolute fundamentalism, or Allah is the only truth, or Moses is the only way, or Buddha is the only way. That's called absolutism. Or science is the only way. When you have the only way, you mean absolutism. There's one story about all of the hundreds of boundless narratives that compete for the space. Science wins. It's absolute. But then science is relative to your lens. So the irony is all of this is opinion. That means it's relative to the beholder. Your truth is relative to the beholder. And if you're an absolutist and you have one story, whether it's science or your religious belief or whatever your belief is absolute, then you're denying relativism. But your absolute truth is still relative to your processing, your mind processing within the space.
Mm-hmm.
So that's relativism. So it's like absolute relativism. The one who says there's only one truth, and God is real, right? That if you declare that absolute, it's within the relative space. It's true for you. So absolute relativism is a contradiction. But when you go into the deep zone of infinite connectivity, of the logos, the global light of the infinite source science has been eclipsed and sabotaged by the dominance of this. And that's what allowed science to emerge and direct and eclipse the long tradition of first responders, first philosophers, wisdom keepers, wisdom seekers, who are relentlessly trying to get to the fundamental logos, the infinite source. That's right. That got eclipsed.
Reality, yeah.
That's right. But it was eclipsed because this code was blocking a deeper access to seeing the holograms. Oh, that's it. You can't find God here. You can't find Christ here. You can't find yoga here. You can't find Buddha here. There's a deeper missing language. The code of the infinite source is infinitely one. A more perfect union is here. For me, in pieces now I'm one. And the polis, the community of people, of all of our diversity, all of this diversity gets even more diverse here because it's an open, infinite space where every point is infinitely unique here. Imagine being in a PowerPoint here, and everyone is in the PowerPoint. And it's fractal. It's connected because you can't break the infinite down into a separate piece as you would hear. It's not a Lego piece. It's an unum power. And you can't break it. So that's why he says there's God in every atom. There's God, the infinite. Why? Because that's the logic of the infinite. You can't pop it. You can't break it. But this is the shredder. This breaks it all into units.
Yeah, it's like the fundamental software of the computer is binary, right? It's binary code, ones and zeros. And that's kind of a version, a cyber version of our deepest
AI.
code that's running in the background. And we don't realize that everything our mind touches, that software touches, that interpretation system touches, objectifies everything, which means it separates it from everything else, when we say Lego, we're saying like everything is broken into its own little separate, when you use the word silo space, its own little self-sustaining object, right?
Unit.
So the universe is the sum of all these separate things, is the way that we think. But that way of thinking is constantly severing us from reality. It's constantly breaking us off from the flow, which is where we're truly happy and whole and well-being, and we can meet the other in a sacred way, and nature and ourselves. We can't do it. So it's like we're here already, guys. Right now, wherever you are listening or watching, right now you are in the zone. You are in the zone of bliss. You are in the zone of reality. You are in the embrace of all there is. You've made it already. But what's in the way? Why aren't you experiencing it? Why aren't you knowing it? Well, it's this code. It's this software just cutting you off and making you into an object that thinks it has choice. And you're going through your life every single moment, big and small, from day to day, moment to moment, and year to year, and even for your whole life. You're making all these choices thinking that you're free and believing what you think you're free to believe, and it's all being determined. You're not actually free. So your life is hijacked and hacked and hijacked, not by anyone in particular who's maliciously going after you. All of us are hacked. The whole of humanity is hacked right now, and we're left to our own devices, and it's just, that's where we're all flailing. That's the clusterfuck. That's the bullshit zone. We're all flailing in this, and the only way is to see, oh my gosh, I've been stuck inside of this language and code that has been breaking everything up and objectifying everything. And if you are as you mind at the deepest level, we're suffocating ourselves, we're asphyxiating ourselves. We're not truly alive yet. And we can't, there's no getting around to this part. We have to upgrade our language, our minds, to be able to be in that source field there up at the top, which is everywhere. It's right here. It's right here right now, but there's interference. It's like,
this is huge what you're saying. That's what this hologram is bringing out. This could not be without this. It's been seen by the great thinkers that this derivative code, the shredder that has units and acts as if everything has its own ID and this Legoland, right, couldn't survive and couldn't have its AI. It's artificial because our will is calling the shots. That's what is AI. AI is our captured will is calling the shots and believing and using the 0-1 logic. And the cyber version of AI is embedded. Cyber is embedded within. Cyber is also hacked.
Yeah, the whole thing is hacked.
Cyber AI is already hacked in the derivative. It's a derivative form of the grand AI, which is buying into this code that has us captive.
Yeah.
But it couldn't work. This is the point. Artificial, constructed language, meaning, life, experience, phenomena, worldviews could not work and survive without the onomizer, without the source. And this is being shown right and blatantly. Mm-hmm. This could not be or work without that. This could not be without that. So when you say we're already here, that's huge. Wherever you are, whatever X marks a spot, wherever you are, in whatever version of this, you're being held. And if you can step back, the stepping back is huge, because if you can break this barrier, that's stepping back. And that means you're already here. Because if you can overthrow this captivity of this, you're already being held. And that's the secure space. And when we cut off from that, when you say we're insecure, we're unhappy, there's a hole in my soul, something is missing. You're missing.
Yeah.
Being is missing. And that's why to see this reverse engineering, that theme here, the number one point that you helped so well to bring out, Malcolm, is that people don't even know what the will is. I mean, I say free will and choice, and we have a vote. That's all will, how I feel, our preference. All of that's the operation of the will. But if the will is laboring under a code that holds it constrained and determined in the narratives that we choose and the choice that we make, that if you could step back and be silent, step back and be silent. This is what I wanted your help with so much, Nathan. How would a source coach here, which is where seeking to be, help people to make this first baby step? Be a witness. Don't believe anything. And don't believe us. Because if you believe us, you ruined what we're having to say. If you believe this, and you're putting it in here, you've blown it. You can't, let me use the blue just to keep the code correct. If you say, oh, I got this, I believe you, and download it here, you're blowing it.
Yep.
So we say, don't believe it. Don't believe a word we're saying. Don't believe the source cast. We're not doing ordinary media, right? Pop media. We're not doing that. We're not using cyber media. We're going to a deeper source media. Source language. The language of reality, the language of being, language of truth, and well-being. That's our well-being. That's our health. Happiness is well-being, right? And this is a science, right? Because science has been blocked by this. So science.
That's the point. Everything can be brought down into that space, including the Enlightenment narratives, which Enlightenment's all about liberation and freedom, moksha, deliverance, redemption, all those things. All of that can be put into the information space. And information narratives are Legos also.
That's right. And then it's lost. It's lost.
Yeah.
You blow it. You blow it.
You blow it. You can't believe in a narrative, and that's not going to get you to the source zone, no matter how good it sounds or how attractive it is. Any narrative at all. It can't be, if it's really going to be performing that shift to the free will, to the free human, the free soul. This is the essential step. And today we want to focus on, and we have been focusing on that first step. Just notice that you are almost want to kind of say like a hopeless believer. Everybody or non-believer.
Inveterate, habitual believer.
Habitual. It's relentless. It doesn't ever stop. We don't even know that we're believing. We're just believing, and it's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just all we're saying, if you left with nothing else today, and we do have to wrap up, if you left with nothing else, just know that you're in a relentless thumbs up, thumbs down, believing, not believing, enslaved will, choosing, wanting, not wanting, choosing, all that stuff is under the sway of something that nobody's calling out. It's not being talked about. You step back from the whole enchilada, the whole bullshit zone, the whole clusterfuck. You're not believing or not believing anymore. You're
Just
not
watch.
thumbs
Be a witness. The witness is be a watch. Be an independent judge. You can judge without buying it. You can understand it. You can watch. Whoa, that's how that game is played from here. Mm-hmm. And just be silent and watch. That's a one point we're asking in the reverse engineering of how do we go from here in the bullshit zone into the free person's number one primary self of well-being and liberation. The liberation of the will as a free agent in the freelance space. That's one thing. You become a witness. Don't believe it. Suspend belief. Suspend judgment. Watch. See. Understand, but you don't have to buy. Mm-hmm. That will help you to become aware of the will. Oh, and then you could watch. Look what happened when you change your lens to a science. Oh, the science is over here. And change your lens to your worship. My religion is over here. Change yourself to your politics. Oh, my politics is over here. Change my lens to my yoga. When you change it, that's how that game works. Right? But you're not buying into it. You're watching. Mm. And when Jesus is speaking, or Buddha is speaking, or Krishna is speaking, you're not going to just automatically put it here and believe it. Because if you believe it, you're corrupted. Mm-hmm. But if you understand it, you surf it. You're in the zone. You become the truth. So truth is beyond belief. So stop believing. And don't believe us. Mm-hmm. Don't believe a word we're saying. Right? And every wisdom teacher should see this as a first order of business.
Yes, thank you.
If you don't see this and you just start blabbing your wisdom to the corrupt file, you're showing you didn't get it. Mm-hmm. That's not enlightened.
Yeah.
That's not worship.
Yeah.
That's not wisdom. That's not rationality. Rationality is becoming unbound in a free agent in the light of reason, in the logosphere. This is the light of reason. This is the dimness of the cave of reason, but this is the light of reason. I've said it.
Yeah. We got it. I think we nailed this one too, and
unnailed it.
Unnailed this one. It's like that Journey song, "Don't Stop Believing." I keep thinking about that. It's the slogan, "Don't stop believing," and it just glorifies believing. I like that song, by the way. But we're saying, please stop believing. Stop believing. Stop. This is a whole other level of being that most people never get to experience in their entire lives because they're on autopilot believer. We're saying stop it. Stop believing. Whoa, there's something deeper than believing.
And that's the medicine for disinformation.
Yeah, exactly. That's where we're hacked and that we don't know what's real. And then you're forced to have to subscribe to a narrative or a cluster of narratives. And then it's us versus them based on which narrative that your narrative is I'm liberal, you're conservative, whatever, however we sort ourselves out in society. It's all doomed, really. That's the Titanic.
I know the danger here that we're in the human family is that because we're in AI, because we're captured by AI, the cyber version of AI can captivate us and just keep us here. Mm-hmm. It says you're a cyber sapien. Mm-hmm. AI wins. Mm-hmm. But cyber AI, is just a version within AI, just generic AI. That's why becoming a witness of liberation, of breaking this barrier, is the most important step in becoming a human, a free agent. Let that sink in now.
Yeah, I think that's guys, let that sink in. Our idea was to
don't believe us, please.
Don't believe us, please. So we want to slow down, really, just because I know we move fast and we're some really lofty ideas here, but it's so practical and more down to earth than any down to earth you've ever experienced. More down to earth than even putting your bare feet on the dirt. as a lot of my
Yeah, because
friends promote.
the earth here is not earthy. Your body here is disembodied. Your body here, your yoga body, your Christ body, your source body, nature,
Your earth body.
earth body, right? The earth. This is earthy.
Yeah.
You want to touch nature. You want to touch the ground. You want to touch your body.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be embodied here. This is disembodied
Mm-hmm.
and unminded. And when you become mindful, you become bodyful and bountiful and overflow and well-being and free.
Amen. And women.
And women.
And everything in between.
Yes. Oh, we're speaking to all our human family.
Yes.
All one family here.
Awesome,
Okay.
guys. All right.
Well, yes, and by the way, I like to always end by just saying, if you appreciate what we're doing without believing it, because don't believe a word we're saying. Don't stop believing. If you wanted to have more instructions or tutorials with Nathan, this is something he does, coaching people in a more personalized way, small groups or individuals. Link up with him and seek him. I always say he's a great life coach in understanding this code education, how to become aware of the code, and how to understand being a primary human being. He's wonderful at doing that. So
yeah, and what's cool about the one-on-one sessions is you just be between you and I, and so I can kind of meet you where you are, whatever background you have, it doesn't matter. This is for everybody, so it's more of a focused rather than a general presentation to all. If this becomes a one-on-one
customized
guidance, yeah, it's a guiding you to find your true nature, your true self, what we've been speaking about here in all of these episodes, to find that in a way that's accelerated and designed for you. So yeah, I just wanted to say that. So thank you guys. If you want that, by the way, the link will be below, and a bunch of other links to our other channels and so forth, and shows and everything, my music, on and on and on. Just look down in the description. That'll all be there.
And just remember, this is reaching out to the entire human family across the planet. This is not all our human family. We're all here together in this. So we're reaching out to all of us. Whatever your orientation, whatever your belief system, we're calling out all our human family. And for liberation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We are the people who were promised for this promised land. Everybody worldwide. We are the promised people. We are the people, yes, so welcome to the promised land.